The 1980s were a great time to enjoy action movies that starred Sylvester Stallone, Bruce Willis, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hollywood hit its stride with movies becoming more expensive and more profitable than ever before. Action movies ruled the box office and were usually helmed by muscle men who gunned down or knocked out any bad guy in their way. Welcome to Binge TV, and here are the top 10 best action movies from the 80s. 10th place, Midnight Run. Bounty hunter Jack Walsh is enlisted by bail bondsman Eddie Moscone to bring accountant Jonathan the Duke Mardukas back to Los Angeles. The accountant had embezzled $15 million from Chicago mob boss Jimmy Serrano before skipping on the $450,000 bail Moscone had posted for him. Walsh must bring Mardukas back within 5 days or Moscone defaults. Moscone says the job is easy, a midnight run, but Walsh demands $100,000. Walsh is approached by FBI agent Alonzo Mosley, who wants Mardukas to be a witness against Serrano and orders Walsh to keep away from Mardukas. Walsh takes no notice of this and instead steals Mosley's ID, which he uses to pass himself off as an FBI agent along his journey. Walsh captures Mardukas in New York City and calls Moscone from the airport, not knowing that Moscone's line is tapped by the FBI and that his assistant Jerry is secretly tipping off Serrano's men. However, Mardukas fakes a panic attack on the plane, forcing the two men to travel via train. When Walsh and Mardukas fail to show up in Los Angeles on time, Moscone brings in rival bounty hunter Marvin Dorfler to find them. 9th place, Escape from New York. In 1988, a war breaks against China and the Soviet Union. The United States government has turned Manhattan into a giant maximum security prison to deal with a 400% increase in crime. In 1997, President of the United States John Harker flies to a peace summit and finds the Air Force One is hijacked by a guerrilla fighter of the National Liberation Front. The president is given a tracking bracelet and is handcuffed to his briefcase before being escorted to an escape pod. The aircraft crashes, but the pod survives. Police are dispatched to rescue President Romero. The crime boss warns that the president has been captured and will be killed if any further rescue attempts are made. Special Forces soldier Snake Plissken is about to be sent into Manhattan after being convicted of robbing the Federal Reserve. Police Commissioner Bob Hawk offers a deal to Snake. If he rescues the president in time for the summit, Hawk will arrange a full presidential pardon. To keep Snake from going rogue, Hawk has him injected with micro-explosives that will sever his carotid arteries in 22 hours. If Snake is successful, Hawk will neutralize the explosives. 8th place, Bloodsport. The U.S. Army Captain Frank Dux is trained in the ways of ninjutsu under his sensei Senzo Tanaka. Dux and a group of his friends broke into Tanaka's home to steal a katana, but Dux was apprehended while returning the katana to its place. Senzo decided to train him alongside his son Shingo. After Shingo's death, Senzo trains Dux as a member of the Tanaka clan. Dux is invited to the Kumite, an illegal martial arts tournament in Hong Kong. Dux goes absent without leave, says goodbye to his sensei, and leaves for Hong Kong. Dux befriends fighter Ray Jackson and their guide Victor Lin. When they arrive at the Kumite arena, the officials are skeptical, but eventually accept them after Dux proves his connection to the Tanaka clan by performing the dim mock death touch. Janice Kent sneaks into the arena by agreeing to a date with another spectator. On the second day, Jackson is matched against Chong Li. Although Jackson comes close to defeating Li, he wastes time gloating, allowing Li to recover and viciously beat him. Dux visits Jackson in the hospital and vows to avenge him. 7th place, Mad Max, The Road Warrior. Following a global war and the collapse of civilization after oil supplies were nearly exhausted, the world is in a state of barbarism. Haunted by the death of his family, former policeman Max Rokitansky now roams the desert of Australia in a supercharged V8 pursuit special. Scavenging for food and petrol, Max's only companion is an Australian cattle dog. Max finds an abandoned gyrocopter and decides to collect its fuel, but is ambushed by the pilot. He manages to overpower him and spares his life in return for being led to an oil refinery that the pilot has discovered. When they arrive, Max finds the compound under siege by the Marauders. Max rescues the single survivor of one group and strikes a deal to return him to the complex in exchange for fuel. The settlers are on the verge of killing Max when the Marauders return. Although Wes wants to kill all the settlers after his partner is killed, Humongous offers the settlers safe passage in exchange for the fuel supply. 6th place, Commando. Retired Colonel John Matrix is informed by his former Major General Franklin Kirby that all the other members of his former unit have been killed by unknown mercenaries. The mercenaries, among them Bennett, an Australian ex-member of Matrix's team, discharged for excessive violence, attack Matrix's secluded mountain home and kidnap Matrix's young daughter Jenny. Matrix is overpowered and abducted by the mercenaries. Arius blackmails Matrix into carrying out a political assassination in his home country of Valverde, where Arius wishes to lead a military coup. Matrix manages to kill his guard, Henriquez, by snapping his neck and jumps from the plane just as it is taking off. With approximately 11 hours before the plane is scheduled to land, he sets out after another of Arius's men, Sully. He instructs Cindy and instructs her to follow Sully to a shopping mall. Cindy first assumes that Matrix is a madman, but after she sees Sully pull a gun on Matrix in the ensuing fight, Matrix catches up with Sully and drops him off a cliff to his death. Matrix tells Cindy that Arius was going to kill Jenny regardless of whether or not he did the job. 5th place, Lethal Weapon. Following the recent death of his wife, Sergeant Martin Riggs has become suicidal and erratic. Riggs is partnered with veteran homicide Sergeant Roger Murtaugh. Murtaugh is contacted by a former war friend, Michael Hunsaker, to help his daughter, Amanda, escape her life of prostitution. But Amanda kills herself by jumping from an apartment balcony before she and Murtaugh meet. Her autopsy shows she was poisoned, indicating she was potentially murdered. Riggs and Murtaugh attempt to question her pimp, but are assaulted after finding drugs on the premises, forcing Riggs to kill the pimp to save Murtaugh's life. Their final lead is Dixie, a prostitute who witnessed Amanda's death and whom the pair believe may have poisoned her. Dixie's home explodes as they arrive and her corpse is later recovered. Riggs locates components of a mercury switch explosive among the debris, a specialty explosive Riggs recalls being used by Central Intelligence Agency mercenaries in Vietnam. 4th place, First Blood. A Vietnam War veteran named John Rambo is searching for an old comrade, only to learn that his friend had died from cancer the previous year due to Agent Orange exposure during the war. Rambo enters the town of Hope, Washington, but is intercepted by the town's sheriff, Will Teasel, who considers Rambo an unwanted nuisance. Teasel tells Rambo that there is a diner 30 miles up the highway and drops him there. After a while, Teasel arrests him on charges of vagrancy and possessing a concealed knife. Teasel's officers abuse Rambo, triggering flashbacks of the torture he endured as a POW in Vietnam. Rambo regains his knife and fights his way out of the police station before stealing a motorcycle and fleeing into the woods. Rambo manages to throw a rock, cracking the helicopter's windshield and causing the pilot to briefly lose control. Rambo tries to persuade Teasel and his men that Galt's death was an accident and that he wants no more trouble, but the officers open fire and pursue him into the woods. 3rd place, Raiders of the Lost Ark. In 1936, American archaeologist Indiana Jones recovers a golden idol from a Peruvian temple. René Belloc corners him and steals the idol. Jones escapes in a waiting seaplane. The agents recruit Jones to recover Ark. At a bar in Nepal, Jones reunites with Ravenwood's daughter Marion and learns Ravenwood is dead. Jones and Marion take the medallion and escape. Traveling to Cairo, the pair meet Jones's friend Salah, who reveals Belloc is assisting the Nazis, who have fashioned an incomplete replica medallion from the burns on Tote's hand. Nazi soldiers and mercenaries attack Jones and Marion is seemingly killed, leaving Jones despondent. An imam deciphers the medallion for Jones, revealing one side bears a warning against disturbing the Ark, and the other bears the correct measurements for the Staff of Ra. 2nd place, Die Hard. On Christmas Eve, Detective John McClane arrives in Los Angeles to reconcile with his estranged wife Holly at a party held by her employer, the Nakatomi Corporation. He is driven to Nakatomi Plaza by a limo driver, Argyle, who offers to wait for McClane in the garage. While McClane changes clothes, the tower is seized by German radical Hans Gruber and his heavily armed team. Everyone in the tower is taken hostage except for McClane, who slips away. Gruber is posing as a terrorist to steal the $640 million in the building's vault. He murders executive Joseph Takagi after failing to extract the access code from him and tasks Theo with breaking into the vault. The terrorists are alerted to McClane's presence and Tony is sent after him. McClane kills Tony and takes his weapon and radio, which he uses to contact the Los Angeles Police Department, and Sergeant Al Powell is sent to investigate. McClane throws some C4 down an elevator shaft, causing an explosion that kills some of the terrorists and ends the assault. Before we get to first place on our list, here are some honorable mentions.
This one is $20.
I'm going in. You're going in? We can send a disarm robot in.
It'll hit the floater, it'll hit the
Day of doom is here! What daring! What arrogance!
I salute you.
I said, what's your problem?
I just got off the phone with an Inspector Todd in Detroit. He says if you're out here investigating the tank...
We're a rescue team, not assassins.
We pick up their trailer, the chopper, run them down, grab those hostages before anybody knows we were there.
You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study.
All right, people, on the ready line. Hire me! Yeah! Hire me!
First place, The Terminator. A cyborg assassin known as a Terminator arrives in the year 2029. Kyle Reese, a human soldier sent back in time from the same year, arrives shortly afterward. The Terminator tracks Sarah Connor to a nightclub, but Kyle rescues her. Kyle explains to Sarah that an artificial intelligence defense network known as Skynet will trigger a global nuclear war in the future to eliminate humanity. The Terminator is a killing machine with a powerful metal endoskeleton and disguises it as a human. The police arrest Kyle and Sarah where they are encountered with the Terminator. Kyle and Sarah escape, steal another car, and take refuge in a motel where they assemble pipe bombs and plan their next move. The Terminator kills Sarah's mother and relocates Sarah and chases her. Kyle is wounded by gunfire while throwing pipe bombs at the Terminator. Sarah knocks the Terminator off its motorcycle but loses control of the truck, which flips over. So what are your thoughts on these action movies? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for more.